And you know what Mondays are for. Mondays are for motivation. I see one person on here. How's it going? Hope you guys are having a good one. I'll wait for more people to get on here and then I will get started. If you happen to watch or see the title to today's Motivation on a Monday, it is Be the Main Character in Your Own Anime. Now, one of the things that if you followed me, you've heard me speak before, I talk about some of the things that I love. One of the things that I love, absolutely, is video games. I've loved video games since I was a kid. One thing that I love almost as much as video games is Japanese anime. I've been watching anime since I think I was like in high school or middle school. I have no idea anymore, but I love it. And one of the reasons that I love it, I love the overall theme and mostly of the Shonen Jumps, but I'll explain more in depth. So I hope you guys stick with me. If you have any questions or feedback about what I'm saying, feel free to talk in the comments, and I'll try to chime in with you guys and go back and forth what I'm saying as I do this. So as always, thank you guys for listening in. I hope what I say resonates and I hope that it makes sense. So one of the things that, I think that as people, it's very easy to give your power away to somebody else. I believe that for most of us, you find ourselves in these situations where everybody outside of us looks like the grass is greener, their lives are better, they're more powerful than we are, they're more in control. It's far easier to see somebody else's abilities, their gifts, the things that they're able to do outside of ourselves. And one of the things I try to remind myself, and that's what tonight's Motivation on Monday is about, is this is a autobiography, not a biography. Meaning you are writing your own story, not somebody else dictating your story to you, right? If that makes sense, right? So for me personally, when I think about it that way, it almost gives me, I am in control, right? I was just talking to my mom about this. None of us can control the families that we were born into. You can't control the environment that you were born into. You can't control whether or not you're rich or poor. You can't control any of those things where you start. But we all have to get to a level of maturity, a place where we were born into doesn't dictate our behavior after that. Like we all have to get to a place where we're too old to continue to blame what happened to us in the past it gives us the right to act how we are acting now or presently or going to act in the future, right? So for me personally, I say that when I look back on my life, I will never forget where I came from or where I was born or what family I was born into, but that won't have as much impact on what it is I am going to do, especially not in a negative way. Right? We can't keep using the excuse, or this is what I've always known, or this is where I'm from, or these are the things that I know. Our job is to grow and get better and learn and evolve as we grow older so that we don't make those same mistakes that we did in the past. Right? So when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about if we are if we become the main character in our own anime, what I mean by that is when you start holding yourself accountable for the decisions and the things that are going on in your life, it allows you to not only grow from them, but you then get to truly and 100% benefit from those decisions and the good things that come from that accountability, right? So one of the things that come to mind when I think about this is Stan Lee. If you're unfamiliar with who Stan Lee is essentially the creator of the characters that we love in Marvel, right? And for me, my favorite character in Marvel is the Incredible Hulk. I've always loved how strong he was. He has like this unrivaled strength. It's unlimited. And the more upset he gets, the stronger he gets. And as a kid, I always loved that because I didn't feel strong as a kid, right? So you find yourself and you're like, I just want to be strong like the Hulk. One day I want to have powers like the Hulk so nobody can do anything to me and nobody can do anything to the people that I love because I'm strong enough to protect them. And then as an adult, I found myself in this rabbit hole one night. And like, is the Hulk, how strong is the Hulk compared to the strongest people in Marvel, right? And I found myself looking up Galactus, and I found myself looking up Cosmic Spider-Man and Phoenix and all these different characters. And I finally got to the top of the who is the strongest person in Marvel Comics. The name is the All Above All, or Above All, or something like that, along those lines. And you see a face, you see a picture of Stan Lee's face. He essentially created this universe, this world, this storyline, and he created all of these strong, these superior beings, these strong, otherworldly strength beings. And on top of all of those strong beings, he made himself the strongest character in the entire universe. For me, I believe that that is what we should be doing in our own individual lives every single day. I remember wanting to be the most popular kid, and I wanted to be the cool kid and the cute guy and the this and the that. And as I become an adult, I realized that those things weren't for me. I understand the problem for most of us is not that we are weak. It's not that we lack power. We spend so much time inserting ourselves in other people's stories that we never get the opportunity to be the main character in our own. And the problem with this even goes even deeper, because when you insert yourself into somebody's story and you're not the main character, you will always be relegated to be the side character. See, the side character is replaceable. The side character can be written out in the story. The side character can be killed off. The side character can be done away with. The main character has to be there, because the story cannot go on. So what I'm saying is we have to take ourselves out of other people's stories as we are being their side character and find ourselves in our own story, so that way we can be our main character. That way that we can be at our strongest, because we are in the situation that we were meant to be in. The things that are for us, but you cannot get those things if you're in somebody else's story. See, me, I think about watching the Narutos and the Dragon Ball Zs, and I think about all the times that a Goku was supposed to be defeated by an adversary or by an opponent, and then out of the blue, plot armor kicked in. See, plot armor can kick in when you're the main character, or when you're in a situation where you're like, oh, well, I'm like, oh, there's no way Naruto is going to be able to beat this person because they're too strong. And then somehow or another, plot armor kicks in. You get the benefit of the doubt as with plot armor when you're the main character. When you are the side character in the story, you can always be done away with. When we are out here living our day to day, when we are chasing our dreams, our goals, whatever the case may be, you have to assert yourself in your own story so that you can maintain the role of main character. When I sat there and I watched these characters in Japanese anime, and they stand on the top of the rooftops and they say, this is what I declare, this is what I'm going to be. I am going to be Hokage. I am going to be the strongest they're in. They can do that because they are the main character in that series. No matter what happens, the story has to go on, and the story cannot go on without them. So the main character must live. The main character must survive. And what I'm saying to you is not that the main character will never be tested, that the main character will never be put in a situation where they'll want to quit, or they'll never be in a situation where they'll be down on their luck, or they'll never be put in a situation where they feel like a failure. What I'm saying to you is the main character is the main character because they triumph when the side character can't. We have to stop putting ourselves in other people's real life situations, real life stories, and then expecting to get those main character benefits and perks. They're not meant for us in their story. You have to subtract yourself and do your thing in your space so that when you go through those things, you have that plot armor to back you up. You can go through the hard times. You can go through the hardships. You can go through the disappointments because you are the main character. You have to go through this to evolve into what you're becoming. I remember thinking back on my own life and feeling like There was nothing more for me. I couldn't do any more because it wasn't meant for me. And I realized the reason I felt like that was because what I wanted wasn't for me. It was for somebody else. And as I think about that more and I go deeper into my thought, I realize there is no main character in their own story that starts off overwhelmingly, oh, well, they're the winner or they're this or they're that. No, you got to go through things in order to actually appreciate you being the main character in your story. You have to go through those tests. You have to go through those slips. You have to go through those falls. Sometimes you got to bump your head. So for me personally, I can sit here, and I appreciate you for making it this week, Ashley. I can sit here, I can look out into the world and say, I am going to do this thing. I'm not saying I'm gonna sit up and say I'm gonna be Hokage or anything like that, like in Japanese anime, but I can sit up here and say, I'm going to change things for my family. They won't have to deal with the things that I had to deal with. I can declare that. Because I am not in anybody else's story. I've decided to be the main character in my own story. And in doing so, that gives me strength. That gives me power. That gives me leverage. That gives me the ability to not go through things, but to overcome them when I do go through things. I expect them. I know that they're coming, but I know if I get through them, what was meant for me will be mine. So I know when you watch, like, what? Why would this grown big person be watching these cartoons? Yes, I do enjoy the fight and I do enjoy the animation. But for me, I'm looking at the deeper meaning. Sometimes all I need to get me off the couch, sometimes all I need to get me going, or sometimes all I need is a little for a motivation is to watch one of these characters, this main character, be the main character. I know that I'm the one writing my own story with the decisions that I make every single day. There is nobody else out there that can write my story for me unless I give them the power over me to do so. We have to get to a place where we are tired of forfeiting our own power over ourselves. Now, I know some things are out of our control. But we can't keep saying, we can't keep living this place where, this person left my life and since then I haven't been the same. That's why I act this way. Nope. You're stronger than that. We have to get past that point where I was done wrong 15 years ago and now I never recover. No, you got to recover. You're stronger than that. We have to accept the fact that we are stronger than that. And just because somebody else doesn't see or validate your strength, it doesn't matter. They're not the main character in your story. So what they think and what they believe in doesn't matter. Because when I watch those shows, the number one thing that I see is people who doubt the main character. You'll never be king. You'll never be this. You'll never be that. And by the end of the show, they are the hero. They are the person that everybody aspires to be. I'm not letting anybody tell me what I can and can't do. I'm the main character of my story. What I'm becoming is not meant for you to understand before I become it. Just understand that I will remember every single person that told me that I wouldn't, so that when I do become it, I will be looking at you like I told you so. You should have jumped on board early. If you are watching this or you listen to this later or whatever the case may be, what I need you to understand is that you are far more powerful than you have ever given yourself credit for. Be the main character in your story. Plain and simple. And that is pretty much my motivational piece for this Monday. And I appreciate. Thank you, Ashley, for listening in this week. I know we missed each other a couple of weeks in a row. If you listen to it now, you feel like what I said made sense and resonate, just let me know in the comments. If you feel like somebody needs to hear what I said, share this with them. It will be on my profile. I'll keep it up like I always do. I'll probably pin it to the top just so people can see it. I think that, I know that people need to believe in themselves, understand that they are more powerful than they believe that they are. And the only way that you do that is embracing that, realizing that you are the strongest person in your story. But you got to allow yourself to be that. And outside of that, man, that's pretty much it. I'll get back on here later in the week and I'll answer tumbling questions. I'll let people ask me whatever questions they have for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for listening in. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a good one, and peace.